but hopefully people will see.
Okay, I'm seeing that it says it's going to YouTube on the corner there.
Okay, good, 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 good. Okay, I think we are live.
Yes.
I'm gonna give it a few minutes. This is not on the event that I wanted it to be on. I'm sorry, everyone.
Okay. All right. Well,
Here.
you can ask people to say if they can hear us and see us, because it seems like people were waiting.
Yeah, I think they were waiting on the actual event though, and now we're on a different thing, which is unfortunate. It's just the way things go. I just couldn't get it to work. If anybody is here, please say hi in the chat, just so we know. I think there's people waiting on the actual event. Here's Claudia. Okay. So people that are saying hello, Claudia, Dale, Shirley, Cindy, can you just let me know that you're seeing us and you can hear us right now, because technical issues. So if you guys can just help us out, that would be awesome. Hey, Kim from Johannesburg, yay. Suzanne. There's a bit of a delay, but from what me and Eileen are seeing, but if you guys can just let us know that you can see us and you can hear us. I mean, you guys are saying hello, so that would tell me that probably you can, but
I'm seeing it on my iPad as well.
Okay, great. I don't think I managed to get this live stream onto the event that I actually posted the link for. It's just been an absolute nightmare. Clearly, yeah, this is not my strong suit, but that's fine. We're here. Hopefully people will find us. We're here on my YouTube channel. We're here live. So I'm gonna people are give a few minutes for people to join, but in the meantime, let me just say hello to everyone who's joining us live. That's really awesome. I can see some people I know in the chat, which is awesome. Hi, Elsa B. Hi, Denise. Hi, Nikki. People from all over. So exciting. France, New York, Colorado, Ohio, Pretoria.
Barcelona.
It's awesome. So we've got no set agenda this evening, guys. We are just going to hang out for the next hour or so. We're going to sketch a portion of the Pink House in Buenos Aires. And this is kind of where me and Eileen really hung out and got to know each other and became friends, dare I say, Eileen.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so it's just really awesome that we could get together. Eileen's in San Francisco, so it's 10 a.m. in the morning for her. I'm here in Johannesburg, so it's 7 p.m. for me. But it's great that friends can connect across the world in different time zones and just have some fun and do some sketching. Okay, so okay, yeah, so I think that this video is not coming through on the link that I sent, which is I'm really sorry, guys. That is completely my fault, and I'm just going to share the link in the chat here. This is actually the first time I've done a Zoom chat and then live streamed it through YouTube. So this is all brand new to me and Eileen. So we're just sort of like trying to figure it out. But yeah, didn't quite go to plan.
I think you're doing great so far.
So hopefully you guys will find us. But just in the meantime, just for a few minutes, I'll just tell you guys a little bit more about me if you're here and seeing me for the first time. My name's Taria. I am originally from the UK, but I live in Johannesburg, South Africa, and just an absolute urban sketching addict. And I just love to teach people and help people get started with urban sketching. Generally with ink and watercolor, that's generally my kind of jam. And so, yeah, teach a lot online. I've got online courses and classes. I'm starting to do some bits and bobs here in South Africa locally as well, and then overseas as well. So I've got a few trips coming up, one in Portugal, one in Spain, also one here in South Africa. But yeah, as I said, I've got the online courses as well. So that's a little bit about me, and I'll just pass over to you, Eileen, if you just want to introduce yourself to everyone.
Yes, I will. So Eileen P. Goldenberg, like she said, I'm in San Francisco, and I've been urban sketching for about almost 10 years right now. And I do also do ceramics, and I also do paintings, encaustic paintings. But I've lately, the last few years, I've just totally fallen in love with urban sketching, and it turns out that's really all I want to do. So what I've done is shifted from doing a lot of art fairs every year to teaching urban sketching in San Francisco. I teach at the Botanical Gardens. I teach at Arch Art Supply. I just got a gig at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Marin to teach urban sketching and fountain pens. So my subcategory is I'm a fountain pen expert, and I teach people, especially urban sketchers, how to use their fountain pens and how to start them when they don't start, which seems to be a problem. So I'll be teaching that at the Symposium in Poznan in August. I'll be teaching it at the Contemporary Art Museum, and I usually teach it in San Francisco as well, because a lot of people, they have fountain pens, but they don't really understand how they work or how they don't work. So I'm here to help people. Yeah, right. Why your fountain pen doesn't work. Yeah, it's pretty simple actually. So yeah, what I do is I bring pens to a classroom, and people can try a bunch of pens, and I just go through all the, filling them, cleaning them, what kind of inks, what kind of paper, everything. So that's really what I love to do. So I have a bunch of pens right here on my desk. I have lots of these. I have lots of these, lots of pens, different things, all kinds of things. So yeah, so that's what I do. And yeah, so the photograph here is of the Pink Palace where we're going to sketch today. And I already started. I just did a pencil sketch to start on mine, so ready to go. And also I make these bowls too for to put your brushes on if you're in the studio, to have your brush handy. Yeah.
That's cool. So is it got like something on there that stops stuff from rolling off?
It's got notches. There's notches in the rim.
Yeah.
So you can so they don't roll off. Yeah, they don't roll off. These are some handmade brushes that
I was going to say, what are
those?
those? Look awesome.
Yeah, they're really cool. Yeah, they're really cool handmade brushes that I just recently pulled out of a giant box of brushes. This is a Rosemary Co. flat, and this is a squirrel mop from Raphael. Yeah. So they just sit across there, and they don't roll off, and then there's water, so you don't worry about your brushes like flying off whatever you're using.
No, that's awesome. But didn't you, I think when I saw you in Buenos Aires, you had like some ridiculous brush, like the biggest Skoda brush I've seen in my entire life or something. Is that right? Am I
Yeah, well,
remembering?
this is a pretty big one. I have a bigger one than this. Yeah, I do have a bigger one. Oh, I have a oh yeah, I have this one. I have a this travel brush that I recently got. It's a Tintoretto.
Oh, it's the Tintoretto.
It's
I think
actually a
that's it.
travel brush. Yeah, it's gigantic, but it's in the tube, so you can put it away.
Yeah, that is quite the brush.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's a great brush. Yeah, so
very inadequate with my little size 10 brush, which I was to as a large brush.
Right. Well, if you work on a bigger, I have a bigger book, so if I got a bigger book and I'm doing across the whole spread, this is handy because I can just put the sky in like one shot.
Yeah,
it's amazing how
awesome. Yeah.
I'm
multitasking here, guys. So I am also looking at the chat. Just want to say hello to you all. I know there's other people waiting on the other video. I completely just, the whole technical thing has eluded me this evening. We did some tests and stuff, but I don't know. I just can't. I couldn't get it to work. I'm really sorry, but hopefully people will gravitate here. Hopefully they'll see. I have put in the chat on the other one the link for this one, so let's just see. At least you can watch it after the fact as well, so that's fine. It will stay on the channel. Kristen, I just see that you're saying you're in the US currently, North Carolina. You're doing the great purge of your home and studio in anticipation of moving to Europe. Ooh, okay, yeah, I've been through that from moving from the UK to South Africa, and once you know that you have to pay for everything to be shipped,
Yeah.
it's quite a good kick up the bum to try and get rid of as much stuff as possible. So I do sympathize. But yeah, shall we get on with some sketching whilst we're chit-chatting? I'm gonna
Yeah.
do a bit of a paint first approach and then sketch on top, which is actually what I did when we were in front of this building in Buenos Aires when I was doing it live. But that means I'll get my paint on and then I can sort of continue to look at the chat a bit and we can sort of chit chat and stuff like that. So we can get going. But if
Okay.
you want to talk through what you're doing, Eileen, we'll just bounce back and forward. I'll try my best not to talk over you. Sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah. So basically I started a sketch this morning, and my pro tip for the way I work is instead of using a graphite pencil, which a lot of people feel like they have to erase it once they get to another point, what I do is I use a watercolor pencil that's kind of a similar color to what I'm drawing. So I use kind of a pink watercolor pencil. So then I go over this with pen, and then after that dries, I can add the watercolor. And as I add the watercolor, those lines just dissolve. So I don't have to
Yeah.
erase anything. Because
No,
when you
that's
erase
yeah.
watercolor, it really disrupts the surface, the sizing on it. So this way, there's
Mhm.
no erasing, and I can adjust as I draw if I want to adjust the drawing as I'm working with the pen. But this way, I can futz around with it. And a lot of times I find my drawings always tilted in one
Yeah.
direction. So I actually went with a ruler and just put some horizontal lines so it doesn't shift. I don't have my picture's not tilted, but and
I think
then
it
this
was
is
my
a fountain
sorry.
pen that has a huge reservoir of ink. So this is all ink in here. It's an eyedropper pen. It's a Mahjong C4, which are available on eBay. And then the nib on this, you probably won't be able to see it, but it's actually an architect nib. So it's
Yeah.
like the opposite of a stub nib, which is flat. So when you draw down, it makes a wide line, and when you go across, it's thin. This is the opposite. When I go down, it's thin, and when I go across, it's wide.
Yeah.
So if I do this, it's thin, if you can see that, thin, and then it's thicker on the side. So
Okay.
I can really vary the line very easily with one pen. And this has got platinum carbon black ink, which is my favorite permanent black ink. And I
Also
use
my
that in all the black pens I have, that's what ink is in there.
me
So
too.
yeah.
Me too. I've actually never
So then I
tried any
just,
of
and
the
I
inks,
usually,
so I always feel bad in recommending that ink because I'm like, no, I've actually never tried any other ones, but
oh,
it
no,
it
it's really,
works.
there's the Ultramantis ink. Yeah, it's really the best ink I found. I've been using it for years and years. And people worry about when you have a pigmented ink that it's going to clog your pen. But here's the thing about fountain pens. If you use them every day, they don't clog. If you put it away in the drawer and you forget about it, that's what happens. People, it's in their bag and they go, oh, I think I'll try my fountain pen after weeks and weeks. And they go, it doesn't write. I'm like, yeah, because you're not using it. You really have to use them to keep them flowing because ink is basically made to dry, so that when you write with it, you can turn the page, right? And the ink's not wet. So it dries, like I'm doing right now, waving it around. Yeah, it's probably going to be a little dry. So I will go and, give it a little wiggle on the paper to get it going, or just dip it in water and wipe it and it'll start right away. So that's
Yeah.
really the best way to do it. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay. So
using
hang on,
them,
you can just dip it in water, like just to try and
yeah,
get it
just
going.
dip it in water and wipe it off with a paper towel. Yep.
Oh, okay. That's a good tip. I didn't know that. Because like,
Yeah. And the other tip is make sure there is ink in it. Because if you have a pen
yes.
that doesn't have a window to see, like you can't tell if there's ink in it, check your ink. Before you leave the house to go sketching is always good. you know,
Yeah,
it's like the
absolutely.
gas in the car. Is there gas? We're going somewhere. Is there gas in the car? Yeah,
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's an easy thing to overlook for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just
You can
laughing
forget,
because
you're packing your bag up. Yeah. Then you
yeah,
just forget what you're doing.
I remember you saying to me that you actually have to use the fountain pen. So I do have a
Yeah.
number of pens, but
One girl says, can you put the name of the pen in the chat?
oh, okay. Sorry, spare human, i.e. husband, is helping monitor the chat. He said someone has asked Eileen if you can put the name of
Claudia.
Claudia's asked if you can put the name of your pen, I think that Mahon one or the one you were just showing, if you could put that.
Mahjong. Mahjon
Hang
C4.
on, hang on, hang on.
C4. Yeah. I get them on eBay.
M-A,
J-O-H, like John, Mahjong, C4.
C4.
Yep. Yep.
Fountain pen
It's an eyedropper pen.
from eBay.
Yeah, this holds enough ink literally for months. This is all ink right here. So this is like a tank of ink that's like a oh, I have one here. Like a sample bottle. If you get a sample vial of ink, that's how much ink that is, which is 4 mil, which is
Yeah,
a ton of
that's
ink.
nice.
A ton of ink.
That's
I could
nice.
actually use this pen to fill another pen. So it's
Claudia's just asking, no, not Claudia, sorry. Becky is asking, is that a Sailor Fude fountain pen on your table, Eileen? Which I suspect.
Yes, I have 2 of them. I have lots of them. Yeah, this is the
I actually
Sailor.
have one as well,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah,
never
you have
use
one
it. I
too,
don't
yeah.
get on with it. I'm not really a big fan
Yeah.
of that one. But I
Yeah,
might
yeah,
have
you know,
to
they
if
just
it
you
was-
have to have yeah, they just take a little bit of practice to get them if you want to do that. The thing about it is it gives you a really good line variation. So this pen, the Architect, is similar, that when you go wide across and when you tip it up, it's thin. So the Fude works exactly the same way, except the Fude ones are thicker. Sometimes you get a thicker line across. So it depends on, you know, how you want to be drawing that. So, yeah, great pens.
Just for those asking if there's a Zoom link, there isn't a Zoom link. That's just it's just YouTube. Just for me and Eileen to interact and show 4 cameras, we needed to be on Zoom, and then we're streaming through Zoom to YouTube. Just not quite as smoothly as I would have liked, but it's fine. We're getting there. It's fine. And I knew this would happen, Eileen. There's like a million questions for you on about pens. I did tell people, to be fair, I was like, bring all your pen questions, because this is the queen of pens right here.
Oh, I know. Well, you know, if you go to Podman, which of course is sold out in Symposium, I'll be teaching a class there where you can learn. I'm going to do the exact same class I teach. It's an introduction to fountain pens. I have a 4-page handout with pictures of the pens, and we go through all the systems, the filling, and all that stuff. And then we're going to do some drawing with the pens that I brought. Yeah, if you don't live in San Francisco, it's hard to see me in person, but I will be traveling and doing some other things. So
That's right.
yeah,
Well,
and you can also contact me through my website and ask me questions too.
you are running a trip later this year?
Oh yeah, Tuscany. Yeah, Tuscany. I'll be doing a trip in Tuscany in September through plein air holidays, and that is on my website also. And there I'll be doing a fountain pen class within that workshop. So one day we'll just spend in the villa doing a whole fountain pen class. So that's also included, as well as a watercolor class, basics. And then the rest of the time we're going to be taking vans to the surrounding villages and sketching in Tuscany. Yeah. And there's a pool at the villa as well, so that can't be bad.
Yeah,
come back from sketching and jump in the pool, right?
So I've got, so Eileen's link to her website is in the no, it's not in this one, is it? Because this is not the correct event. I'm going to put the links for everything in the description of this video. So yeah, we'll get there.
I can see the questions on my iPad. So I see there's a question: should you store them vertically or horizontally? I say horizontally.
Horizontally.
It's the safest way, because if you do it nib down, it could leak, and if you go nib up, it could dry out a little bit. So depends on the circumstance. Mostly safer is horizontally.
Yeah.
So let me show you my
I've just also realized
this is my box of pens here.
Wow, that is quite the box of
box,
pens.
some of my pens. I have hundreds and hundreds of pens, but you know. Yeah.
Just gonna put some links in the chat, because again, I'd set it up on the other event and then that did not quite go to plan. So I'll let you carry on talking, Eileen. If you can see any questions there, then that's cool.
Yeah.
Do that. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, if you have, this is Kristen, if you have pens that your husband doesn't wants you to use, you want to use them, what I would do is first open up the barrel and see if there's ink in them. And if there is ink in them, they've been sitting around, I would suggest cleaning them before you try to use them unless they write. And then any fountain pen you have can be used for drawing. There's no requirements whatsoever. If it writes, you can draw with it. You could draw with a stick dipped in ink. You know what I'm saying? You could draw with anything that produces a line. It doesn't have to have a special, you don't have to have a special, sketching pen. Any pen will work. So yeah, and they're great for drawing because you can refill them. You can have them for a long time. You don't have to throw them away. And you get line variation by just the nature of the nibs on them, which are different. And what I suggest is if you live somewhere where there's a pen show, so there's pen shows all over the world. There's about 13 of them just in the United States. Look it up on the internet and say pen shows, fountain pen shows in the United States, and find one close by and go to the pen show, because this is like a show with vendors with thousands and thousands of fountain pens that they bring, and they will let you try any pen you see on a table. So they'll dip it in ink and let you try it, which is like test driving a car. It's the best way to decide what kind of pen you like. In my class, I pass them around and everybody gets to try them, and then they can see what they like. But if you can't be close to me, go to a pen show and see what they're like. Or if it is a stationery store near you or an art store that has pens, go and talk to them and say, "Can I try that pen?" And usually they'll let you, because again, you're not going to buy it unless you've tried it a little bit. And they just have to dip the nib in ink, and it's the same as if it was filled. So that will work great to give you an idea of what kind of pen if you want, and what kind of nib you want to find. You like medium, you like broad, you want a big pen, a small pen, you want plastic, you want metal. There's thousands of choices. The pen I recommend to start with mostly would be a Platinum Preppy.
Oh yeah.
It's $5 or $6. It's easy, right? Everybody's got one. If you lose it, you buy another one. It takes platinum carbon ink cartridges, which is the same ink in this, or you can use a converter in it, but it's really inexpensive. I give this away free in my classes and say, okay, here's a pen for you to start with. So that's a really good pen to start with. It's just like, it does everything. It's a platinum pen.
That's very nice.
It's
And
really
it comes in
easy.
different, you can get different nib sizes on it as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because
You
I
get
don't.
extra fine, and medium. Yeah. Yeah, so those are easy. And even if you get one that's like red or green like that, you can just not use the ink it comes with and just put in platinum carbon black cartridges, and those
Yeah.
will work perfect. Great for
So-
traveling. Get a box of 4, it'll last you the whole trip.
Yeah, that's a good point actually.
Yeah.
So I think Jennifer asked what the best pen is to I love how everyone's just talking about pens. This is great. Jennifer asked what the best pen, I guess fountain pen, is to travel with, but I suppose that's a tip, isn't it, that if you have like the Platinum Preppy, for example, or a platinum pen, you can take these.
Yeah, those are good. Well, and the thing about these, the C4 is, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little end part here that you could close up the shutoff valve. So I can screw this down and it's going to close off the ink in this part to go to the feed. So I can travel with this and it's not going to leak. Some pens like to leak, like these Pilot Parallel pens leak. I find that they leak. So I just put them in a Ziploc bag to be sure. But all the other pens I have, basically, at this point, they're modern pens. They really don't leak the way that vintage pens might leak, because those weren't really made to fly, since they didn't have airplanes when they made those.
Yeah.
But now we're flying with them, so you want to have something that you can shut off the ink to, so that works. But I find even like this is a Jinhao 9019, really great pen, has a big nib on it.
Have one of those.
Big
Maybe I
converter.
have a pen addiction as well, and I just didn't realize.
Oh yeah, you do have one of those. Yeah, that's a Jinhao. Yeah. These are great. These are great pens. So yeah, so Pilot Metropolitan is a good starter pen. I think I have one of those here.
But is it good to like not have the ink in the pen like when you fly, or does it not? I suppose if you can.
Well, the thing about it is you can fly 2 ways. You could fly with it empty, or you could fly with it full. So what makes pens leak on a plane is if it's half full. When you go up in the air pressure makes the air get bigger, and the big air pushes the ink through the nib. So that's why they leak, is because there's a space in the cartridge or whatever that expands as you go up in the air. Okay, so if it's totally full, there's no air. Okay, so you could either completely empty it, but when you get there, then you have to fill it. So I just say fill them up. Just look at all your pens and fill them all the way up so that they're full, and then you shouldn't have a problem. You know.
Okay, that's
So
super good tip.
this
Super good
is
tip.
yeah, and
Okay.
this is some of my other pens here. My let's see, fancier pens here. Just a few here. Yeah, some beautiful pens. Italian pens. This is an Italian pen, Aurora. So these
How
are
many
great,
pens
and they're
are
all. I use them all for drawing. I draw with all my pens. I draw with them every day.
But how many do you have? How do you draw with them all every day? That's insane.
Oh, I probably have over 150 pens.
Becky says,
Yeah.
"Can
I have a whole box of them over there. Yeah, I have pens that are empty. I have pens here. So as I go through my fountain pens, what I'm getting, I have pens that I don't use, so I sell those, and
Yeah.
then or give them away. And then I have pens that I find I'm using more, so I use those. So it's just kind of a thing, And if you go to a pen show, that's a pretty dangerous place, I gotta say, because
Yeah. I
there's a lot
think
of pens.
Sodam and there's a few other people here from South Africa, but I think we had our very first pen show here in South Africa last
Oh,
year, I
oh,
think
very
it
cool.
was.
Yeah,
That's cool. I missed it. I was away, unfortunately, but hopefully they'll do another one this year, perhaps.
yeah.
Um,
And
so I think Becky was asking me why I put paint down first. It's just another way of doing things, Becky. So I have some classes about this. It's just a particular technique that I do use from time to time, and I do remember specifically sitting in this square in Buenos Aires, and that was the technique that I went with, because this is a tiny section of a very, very large, long building, and it's quite an overwhelming piece of architecture to sketch. But I found that just sort of putting some blobs of paint and just in like a vague way, so it doesn't matter if your pen lines even are inside or outside the paint shapes, but it's just a nice way to start, and it just gives you that kind of loose, sketchy feeling without sort of overthinking it too much. So it's just another thing that you could try, but I would really recommend practicing this technique. You can just use photos or whatever, because it's really, really fun. So I'm a big fan of it. So that's yeah, no, not much rhyme and reason. It's just like a fun thing, a fun other technique to use, rather than starting with your basic shapes and building up the drawing and then painting. It's just a different way of doing it. So hopefully that answers your question.
I also find that when you do that with the shape, you've already established how big that building is on the page. A
Yeah,
lot of people start too big and then they run out of paper. But if you
that's
do the
true.
shape thing, you've already got the whole building like the way I do like the sketch with the top and the bottom of the building. That way
Yeah,
you know where it is. And then everything is in relationship to that one big shape. That's how I teach. It's like one big shape first, and then everything
yeah,
else is related to that big shape. So
really
that
well.
the way to do with the paint like that is a perfect way to start, and then you've got the color down already, so you can go over and you can go back with the pen and everything later too.
Yeah, and you
If
can
you want to
also go back
enhance.
and put some more paint on top as well. Like hopefully we'll get to it, but like doing some like shadows and stuff. Um,
Right,
yeah,
right.
it's just another fun way of doing things.
Yeah.
Just looking at the chat. Okay, I think we're all good. I think we're all good. So yeah, Poznan. Yes, I think someone said earlier in the chat that they couldn't afford a ticket anyway, but they did hear that it was a bit of a nightmare to get tickets. Eileen wouldn't know about that because she's a teacher, so she got to avoid all of
I have
that
a faculty.
nonsense. But yes, I can
Yeah,
confirm
sold out.
it
It
was
sold out
extremely
in minutes.
stressful. Yeah, to get a ticket. It felt like I was back in the day getting my Guns N' Roses tickets or something. And I was hit there like sitting there watching the second hand tick down and clicking refresh and all that business. So I was prepared. I was preparing myself psychologically that I wasn't going to get to go this year because I didn't think I'd be able to get a ticket. But I was lucky and I did manage
But you
to
did.
snag
You
one.
did, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm very excited. I can see my friend Eileen in person again. That would be very nice. And
That's right.
lots of
We're gonna
people
get
that I've
sketched
met.
together again.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be really fun. So I am happy that I've got one. But I'll obviously let you guys know how it goes and all that stuff, and share sketches and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta say for urban sketching, there's nothing better than a symposium. I mean, I know there's a lot of local, there's a Chicago thing, and there's a Sketcher Fest up in Edmonds near Seattle, and there's a lot of smaller local
Yeah.
events which are great because that really helps people that either can't travel or don't have time or whatever. But the symposium itself is just like the most immersive. We are sketching night and day, every minute. I mean, nobody
Yeah.
stops sketching any time at all. And even after all the daily events are done, we're still drink and draw, which is after everything. We're still drawing. So it's really, and you meet people from all over the world. My favorite thing is I have friends everywhere. I have friends in Johannesburg, turns out,
Yeah.
you know? So I have friends everywhere now. Yeah, right. I could go anywhere, Paris, Iceland, Dubai, you know, any place in the United States that there's I'm going to New York in a couple of weeks. I contacted the local New York chapter, Westchester, Middleton, Danbury, Connecticut. They're waiting for me. So it's really
Yeah.
a network of sketching. So when you travel now, it changes everything about traveling. It's like, for me, it's really about sketching new places. And that's what I love to do. Because if I just travel and I don't sketch, what's the point?
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree. Just on that point
Yeah.
about finding an urban sketches chapter when you're traveling, you know, I did that last year. I think it was after I was teaching in Barcelona. I just went down to Seville, just to meet some friends and stuff. But I had a couple of days at the end just by myself. And so I just looked up the Seville, never know how to say it,
Yeah.
Urban Sketches chapter. And luckily they were meeting on that day, so I went along to join them, and lo and behold, Inma Serrano was there, like almost giving a workshop.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, what? Because she's
That's
like
a
my
big
hero. I love
chapter.
her
Yeah.
so much. So I love her work so much. So I was like, oh my God, this has just worked out so nicely. But it's a really lovely thing. And I've made so many friends across South Africa. Sodam here in Cape Town, and Elsaby, and a few other Kim, a few other people that I think I saw joining here. And so just on a national level, I've made so many friends across the country, that I feel comfortable to go and like stay with or go and sketch with and stuff like that. And it's just really, really nice.
Does Eileen teach art retreats in the US?
Does Eileen teach art retreats in the US? Someone is asking Eileen.
Not yet, but I'd like to.
Deborah.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking to the Madeline Island School. They
Oh, nice.
teach workshops. They have about 5 locations right now: Tucson, Madeline Island, Santa Fe. I'm trying to talk to them. So I am talking to other people locally to go. Yeah, within the United States would be great. I tried to teach in Chicago. Yeah, I've got friends everywhere. So I'm just in the middle of networking that. But the Tuscany trip is going to be a good international show because I want to go to Tuscany anyway. So,
Yeah.
while I'm there. So we're
Yeah.
planning a trip in Crete eventually, but yeah, definitely the United States somewhere. Yep. And,
Yeah.
more local, maybe a Silomar, which is part of Madeline Island too. They just, Stephanie Bauer, my friend, is an architect, is teaching in a Silomar, which is only a couple hours from San Francisco, and it's part of the Madeline Island system of teaching. So, yeah, working on all that. Yeah,
Awesome.
it's
Awesome.
definitely, yeah, most definitely.
That's awesome. So you guys can see I'm being like super loose with this drawing, but again, it's like it works because the paint's really loose as well. So sometimes it just helps like starting with a
Yeah,
shape. Sometimes I just feel like starting with a shape is easier than starting with the lines. But it does
yeah,
encourage my whole drawing to just become a bit looser, which you know, especially for this kind of architecture, like something a bit more decorative and complicated and stuff. I find the looser I sketch it, the better it looks. Whereas if I try and be really precise, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't work as well as the loose kind of vibes. That's why I absolutely love drawing architecture like this, because now I'm like, right, can get into it, you know. And if my doors aren't quite even, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I think as long as your drawing lines up with itself more than like the exact right proportions that you're seeing in real life, if that makes sense. So this first floor, you can see that my window's kind of narrow over here and it's wider over here, but that's fine as long as the floor below, I kind of keep things in line somewhat with, at least with itself, then it's not going to look too janky, for want of a better term.
Yeah.
But you can get away with it because it's like a nice loose vibe.
Well, what I tell my beginners is, no one's really going to take your sketchbook and go to that location where you were standing and check how many windows there are and what the lines are straight. Nobody's doing that. So it's your interpretation of your being there and how you felt and what you're doing. It's not so much about accuracy is, the feeling and what was going on. Because, you and I were there sketching and we were having a ball. I mean, we were chatting and getting to know each other and, drawing that pink palace. And it's a big, huge building. I mean, this is just like really one corner of this building. It's gigantic. Because that was my experience in Buenos Aires. The buildings were just huge. I mean, like a whole city block is one building. And they're all 4 or 5 stories with like the most decoration you can have on a building possible.
Yeah.
Did you ever make it to the water company building? Did you ever make it to that thing?
I think
it was kind of in a neighborhood off. I don't even know how I found it, but it was like the craziest building I've ever. I didn't even know it was just like the water tanks in there. It's like wire railings on the top, arches, brick. I mean, it's a crazy, crazy building. Yeah, crazy. Cool. But that's the joy. That's why we love this, because we go traveling and it's like, look at that building. That's like amazing.
Yeah, I will say Buenos Aires did exceed all of my expectations. It was never really on my list of places to go, or on my radar, let's just say, but it was absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Yep. Yep. And I'm using my Art Toolkit palette right here. This is my larger one. I just added the Phthalo blue to the palette. That is a crazy color. That is like
very strong, very strong
color. Yep, yep.
See, the other great thing
now
about
I'm just putting in the windows.
You can just trail off. And again, I did that with my main sketch that I did. The next time my husband comes in, I'm going to send him to get my sketchbook so I can show you guys. But yeah, I did just like trail off. And I think that's also something that works really nicely with this kind of style. So
yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, actually, Duncan's watching the live.
Yesterday we were in Sausalito, and there's these 2 elephants that were originally part of the 1915 exposition, and that's the same place where the video on CBS News, that I think it's in the link, that we had a story done a couple of weeks ago. That's the Palace of Fine Arts. That was the 1915 World's Fair, and these elephants apparently were at the Palace of Fine Arts. There were 12 of them that went around the area there, and there's 2 of them now in Sausalito that are in front of this park in Sausalito. So we drew them yesterday. So this is a drawing that I did yesterday. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, you can see it here. It's the 2 elephants. Yeah, the 2 elephants, one in front of the other, and with a building sort of in the background. And the thing that's funny about it is the elephants are actually not pink. They're actually yellow. But what did I do? I made them pink, because pink elephants, come on.
Of course, yeah, it has to be.
I actually gave them red toenails too, because I can. Because why not, right? So that was really fun. Everybody was like, yours are pink. I'm like, yeah, everybody else did yellow. Why? Oh, come on. Have a little fun here.
It's cool. You've got the yellow building behind to like contrast the
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm just putting in the windows here. So what I do is I put in the windows in like a cobalt teal. And then that shows that it's glass for me, right? Yes. And then I let that dry, and then I'm going to add the pink, and then sometimes I add the shadows first. Let me get another brush here. So this is another pocket brush. That's a Escoda Perla, which I love. Okay, so that's a good brush.
Yeah, that's nice.
And that's really good for shadows. So I'll go in with the shadows earlier before I put the color in. So I'm mixing up like indigo and some sodalite here, which is a dark. And then I'm going to look at the photograph and see where all the shadows are, right? So there's the shadow right here, and the shadows here.
I'm spotlighting you at the moment, Eileen, so everyone can see.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, yeah. And then there's these little urns. And in a lot of European countries, especially Spain, they love having these urns on top of the buildings. So
Yeah.
there's like, if you look up at the corners, there's always urns up there, which I love. Being a ceramic artist, you know, I like the urn thing. And then this really nice shadow right there. See, that really pops up. When you want to pop up the three-dimensionality of a building, put in shadows.
So you're
Don't have
putting in
shadows, you
shadows
have
first, and then will you
first
paint the pink of the building?
over it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because watercolor is transparent.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I can do that.
It's
Once this
interesting.
dries, I can go right over it. Yep,
You find
absolutely.
yourself getting into like a routine, like I always do like the shadows afterwards, and I never really thought about doing them first, but that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
Right
Yeah.
there.
It's like it works, you know? Because
Yeah.
the thing is, the sun is moving, so it's going to change. So after an hour or so, you look up and the shadows are completely different. And if I liked them when I got there, I want to keep them like that. So I try to really get those in early. And then I love all these little corners that make these triangular shadows
Mm.
because the light's coming from this direction. No, it's coming this way. You can see that all the shadows are right underneath all those spots there. You can see where they are. It just
I
really
think that's
makes it pop.
Yeah, I think that's what I liked about this particular photo is just it's got some really nice shadow shapes
Yeah.
on it. And guys, I don't know if you're sketching along, but if you want to sketch after the fact, then I have put the reference photo link in this chat. But afterwards, I will change the description for the video, so it will be there as well, so that you can also sketch this building.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great building.
Let me put it in one more time here.
Yeah, I draw a lot of Victorians here in San Francisco, and I know what time the shadows are on what street, depending on where I'm going. So I always time it for the optimum shadow placement when I go out.
It really is important to like kind of
Yeah,
know where the
yeah,
sun is and that kind of thing when you're sketching.
yeah. Because look at the way that just popped out. All the you know the three dimensionality of it just pops. Just pops. Great.
So I'm just going to show you guys the original sketch I did of the pink house. I don't know if I can fit it in the screen here. Yeah, I think I can.
Oh yeah.
So you can kind of
Yeah.
see what I mean. I just went in with paint first and put this kind of like nice pinky color in and the green. And you can see where I'd sort of estimated the dome would be there, but actually it ended up there. That's absolutely fine. It just makes it look super loose, and it doesn't matter if the paint's not quite in the right place because the overall drawing is just so loose as well. I don't know. I like it. It was probably just like a stylistic thing, and some people like this vibe, some people don't. But it's quite quick as well, really. I think I did this like relatively quickly. And I did do this with a Fude fountain pens that we were like talking about earlier. So like the Sailor one is very, very popular pen. I'm not a big fan of this one particularly, but I'm going to take it to Poznan with me, and I'm going to make Eileen. I'm going to get Eileen to help me make it work. She's
I will
probably
fix
just
it
like clean it
for you.
out.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't
that's
know.
right. Yep. Yeah,
But
I'll
I
fix it for you.
unfortunately I was saying to Eileen just before we started that I've lost my favorite Fude fountain pen. I had it like last week and I've just misplaced it, and I'm quite upset because I can't get it here in South Africa, so I have to wait until I go out to the UK
Oh, darn.
to get another one.
Yeah.
But
It's
hopefully it will turn
it's
out.
good to have a it's good to have a bag that really holds all your supplies where you need them. Because I have a friend who just goes around with a big giant Ziploc bag and she just throws all of her stuff into that, and she's constantly losing her pens. She can't find them because they're in the bottom of her backpack or she put it in her pocket and it's gone. So I have a bag like this that's you know, everything's standing up in here.
Yeah, no, I do. I have
It's
that,
all
but
visible.
I just think
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got everything else. I
So maybe
very
you
I
just
don't
set it down
even know when
somewhere
I
and
last lost something, but I don't know where this one's
yeah,
gone, which is
yeah.
very
They do that sometimes.
they
They
do
get
that.
away.
Yeah. Hopefully, it
Get
will just
away
turn
from
up
you.
somewhere.
Yeah, it'll probably turn up. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna put some shadows in as well. I think I'm gonna go like a
Yeah.
nice bit addicted to Moon Glow at the moment. Daniel Smith Moon Glow is a
Oh,
favorite.
love you. Yeah.
So
Love the rocks.
let's see how that goes. But yeah, I'm definitely going to try your thing of putting the shadows down first. I don't know why I haven't thought of that before.
Yeah, it works. I like it. It works great.
Yeah. Down here. Anything else in the... What is your favorite sketchbook? Oof, what a question, Deborah. What a question.
That's easy
Well,
for
I'll
me.
let Eileen take that one because I think you're using a homemade sketchbook there, are you, Eileen?
It's the ones I make. Yeah, I make these. So they're felt covers and they can be refilled. So they have, this is all Fabriano paper. And see, you can go across, you can pull the sheet out because it's just on a elastic band. And there's
Oh,
two
that's
sections.
clever. Yeah.
And then I can also put in colored paper.
Ah, yes.
So I can put in whatever I want. And then when I travel, I carry extra sections. So when I use up the first section, I take it out and replace it with a fresh one. And then I have more paper. So I don't have to carry the whole thing because a hardbound sketchbook weighs like a pound. These weigh 9 ounces. So they're lightweight and they just close like this with a band like this. And then I have a larger size too, which is this size, which is the one I'm painting in, but this is a bigger, it's like an 8x8 size.
Yeah.
And this is actually from the Buenos Aires. This was the one I took to Buenos Aires. There's my flight going in. I had a little time at the airport. This was funny, this picture. I was sitting in the airport and I thought, God, there's no plane there. And I turned and this plane just pulled right up to the window. I'm like, thank you.
There it is.
It's like, wow, that was convenient. Yeah, this was cafes. Remember that cafe we went to? And this is using one of my, so I have these modified pens that have a Pilot parallel nib, but it's modified. So it's instead of being square, it's triangular. It's cut to be at an angle. So you can do this kind of a line with it. So that's that. I think the pink palace is actually in here, mine. Let's see. Yep, there's mine. So that's the one I did with Taria on location. Yep. And that's the middle door of that building. So yeah, so 2 sizes, felt. Yeah, they're great. Really good books.
And did you just like learn how
That's
to...
my favorite.
Did you just learn how to make that yourself? You just came up with that concept?
Yeah, I designed them myself, and I designed them for me because I found that my backpack just gets too heavy. If you have 2 or 3 hardbound books in there, it gets heavy pretty fast. And then you've got water and you've got food for later and your jacket and all this stuff that you're hauling around with you, and the backpack gets kind of heavy. So if you have a lightweight book that you can also replace the paper, it takes the weight out of that. So I find it really helps to have a lighter sketchbook. And then you can put in whatever paper you like. If you like arches, if you like, Stonehenge. I happen to like Fabriano paper. I think that's the best paper. It's my favorite. So that's what I use. It's 100% cotton. So it's really good paper. Because people like to use cheap watercolor paper, which I understand. I totally get it. And when you go to 100% cotton paper, it's like, oh, wow, that's a big difference. It's so delicious to use a wonderful paper because it's made to take the watercolor. It's really made for that, as opposed to like mixed media, which it's okay, but it's just this paper just is amazing. The color's vibrant. It doesn't like fade out. It's just incredible to draw on. So, and the thing about it is if you just use watercolor on this paper, it's actually washable. Because it's 100% cotton, you can throw it in the bathtub and rinse off all the watercolor and start again. So it's reusable because it's rag. It's 100% rag. So it's a really a wonderful paper. It's made in Germany. They've been making paper since like 1264 or something. So it's really good paper.
There's for people in South Africa, but I'm sure it's sold elsewhere. Potentate is a really, really affordable 100% cotton paper, so I really recommend that. I've just got separate sheets. I'm just looking around to see if I've got some to hand, but I can't see it. But they have separate sheets, and it's just very inexpensive, but still 100% cotton, so it's like really, really good to use. For me, Deborah, I'm just a bit of like, you know, I've just got like about 15 sketchbooks, unused sketchbooks on the shelf. So it's just like, right, there's a queue. So it's like, okay, now it's your turn. Now it's your turn. So I can't say that I stick to anything particular. I think I got this Hahnemühle one at one of the symposiums. I think like our little Johannesburg one, it might have been in the bag. But I really do like, I know a lot of people don't like this sketchbook, but I really like it. It's just the normal, it's not the 100% cotton one that Hahnemühle have. It's just the normal watercolor travel sketchbook. So I think it's about 200 GSM and it's probably just cellulose or whatever, but I quite like it. I quite like this format as well. Definitely for big sketches. So like the pink, you get that real impact of this huge big sketch. And what's nice is that you can do like quite nice spreads. So I was in this cafe, so I could sketch my food, and then I can sketch what I could see, and then, you know, you've got space to like stick in the receipt. And then I've got this Polaroid printer recently, so I took a little picture of their tortoise that was hanging around. I even got my little stamps. Just got so much more like space to kind of make like a nice travel sketch spread. However, not so good for like trying to be inconspicuous and sketch on a plane or something like that, because then you have to like take up your passenger, like the next person next to you, take up their space as well, try to open this thing up. So I would highly recommend just a standard like A5 sketchbook for more secretive sketching. But yeah, for if you're doing like big architecture or you want to do like big nice sketchbook spreads, I quite like having that big space to work with, which is really fun.
Yeah, you could turn it vertically into a really tall
Simone is a
building.
self-professed Ziploc bag sketcher. I love that. I think that's going to catch on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Becky. You enjoyed seeing my sketchbook tour from Argentina. So yeah, if you want to check that out, guys, you can watch that on my YouTube channel. So Kim did have a question. I think she wanted to know, and this might be a while back now, Eileen, but she wanted to know what gorgeous blue you were using, potentially in the windows. Is that right, Kim? There's a bit of a delay, so Kim, let me know if that's what you meant. The blue in the windows of your building, I reckon. Was it
Cobalt teal?
Yeah.
Yep. Cobalt teal. Yep. Right here. This one right here.
That one on the left.
Daniel Smith. Daniel Smith. I use almost all my paints are Daniel Smith. I have a few Schmenka. I have some the granulating pink here, which I use, and this color is Schmenka, but mostly it's Daniel Smith. Yeah.
Okay.
I've mainly got the nice thing about these palettes is you can take the hands out.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm just whoops.
I'll let you finish. Sorry.
Trying to get my pink here. Yeah, so that's magenta, this color now, and then this is the granulating pink. So I mix them together, and then it granulates. Ooh, too dark.
Transparent pencil case for you, Simon. Yeah, that's a good move. That's a good move. Mine was something fancier, but now I just have this little pouch, but I got it in Argentina, so it like reminds me of being there, which is fine. I'm also trying to be minimalist, so everything I take sketching with me, it's in this little pouch, apart from the sketchbook, obviously. And then some of you might have seen on my channel quite a while ago, made a bit of a dog's breakfast of it really, but I turned this little old tin into a watercolor set, but it does the job, so it's fine. And these are mainly Rose Gallery paints in here, but there are 1 or 2 Daniel Smiths and 1 White Knights. I think it just depends on what color I've got, but that's what I've sort of been using at the moment. Quite like the Rosa Gallery, really good price, still artist quality still, but yeah, really affordable in the grand scheme of things. And good, nice bright colors and stuff. So yeah, highly recommend.
Yeah, I love your tin. That tin is fabulous.
It's just so nice because like I never met my father-in-law, and it was just like something of his that we had in the garage, and I just and it's got his writing on it. He used it for window bolts or whatever, but it's also a really beautiful tin. It just works on so many levels.
Yeah.
So it's like quite a nice little sentimental, and it's also because it's such thin metal, it's really, really light as well. So that's
Yeah.
nice sort of traveling with.
Yeah, I have my grandfather's fountain pen, a Parker 51 that he got it from when he retired. He was a tailor in
Yeah.
Europe, and they gave him a pen engraved from them to him with his name on it. So I have that pen.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody's got a pen in their drawer. I guarantee everybody's got grandma's pen somewhere. The people give me pens all the time. Like, oh, we cleaned out grandma's house. And I have all these pens. Do you want them? I'm like, sure.
Oh, why not? Yeah.
Get some good pens that way because they don't know what they have. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
try
didn't you
out
say
on that.
you have like two what's the fancy pen company? Mont Blanc?
Mont Blanc. Yep. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
two of those.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nice. I think when I go back to the UK in summer, well, in the UK summer anyway, I think I'll have to go and raid my mum and dad's house, look for fountain pens.
Yeah, there's my two Mont Blancs. Yep. So look for that. The white star. You see that? Say, yes, I'll take that. The white star.
Yeah, good tip. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice pens. The only problem with really good pens is I really don't take them out sketching because I'm like, yeah, I use those at home, but I've got so many pens I really don't need to do that. But
Otherwise,
yeah.
what happens to me happens, and you just
Well,
lose your favorite pen, and I have no idea where it's gone. So.
yeah, that would be terrible. Yeah, I would hate that. Really hate that. So
Yeah, I'm just hoping it will turn up somewhere. Anyway. So I've used some black around my sketch as well. I do find that that's like a really nice contrasty thing to do. I'm a fan of using some solid black. I really like this particular pen, seeing as we're talking about pens so much.
pens, yeah.
It's a Pentel pocket brush, and it does have an ink cartridge in it, so it is reusable rather than a disposable thing. It's extremely popular pen. Lots of urban sketchers, graphic artists, comic book artists use this pen because the tip really is like a brush. It's so soft, and the cartridge will last you a really long time as well. And they're easy to find, easy to buy, more cartridges and that kind of thing. So I highly recommend this pen. I think it's probably about $12 US, something like that, 12, 15 US, and you get like 2 ink cartridges with it, and that will last you quite a long time.
Yeah. And you can fill those cartridges with platinum carbon ink.
Can you?
Yes, you can. Use a syringe. Yeah, baby. When they're empty, just take it out and fill it.
I can't be trusted with syringes and ink and pens that just end well for me. So
yeah,
just
could be dangerous. So I wanted to show this this modification on this pen. So this is a pilot parallel that's been modified. So if you can see, it's got this.
Oh, let me spotlight.
It's triangular as opposed to being square. Yeah.
There we go.
So see, that's got an angle to it. So you can draw with it, down this way, thin line, but then you can do that.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And it batters. And then this one I have, okay, it just happens to fit the pilot parallel nib in there. Okay. So there's different sizes of the nibs. There's wide ones and thin ones. So this one also, I can do this, but check this out. Whoa. So you can just turn it and yep, tons of fun. Cool. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's all ink. Again, that's all ink right there.
In the body of the pen?
Yes, in the body, it's all ink right there. Yeah. So you don't, because the wider the line that the pen makes, the more ink you're going to use.
Yeah.
A pen that's got an ultra fine pen nib doesn't use as much ink as something that makes a big wide line like that. So, it's good to have more ink than less ink. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing with the Fidos is you have to be aware that they run out of ink more quickly just because they put so much down.
Yeah, they definitely do. Yeah.
So Claudia says Rosa Gallery was the best information ever. Love the green. If anyone has watched more than one of my videos, you know how much I bang on about green. The Rosa Gallery green. Previous to that, the White Nights green. either or. It's just the best color ever. I love it. Absolutely love it. So Claudia, I'm glad that you agree. Ashley, thank you very much. Love seeing you two ladies together. So fun. That's awesome. Thank you very much. So you can see how with this sketch here, like I really could just leave it like that, to be honest with you. It's really, at any point I could stop, because it's kind of also, as well as the looseness, it's got like the minimalist thing as well. So I'm tempted to put like this grass at the bottom here with the kind of the greens and stuff, and then maybe put the fence post in, but I'm also tempted to just leave it like this and maybe just add some thicker lines in places. And I know that's something that people often ask or maybe struggle with, is to where to put your thicker pen lines. And what I tend to do is just put them under anywhere where there's like a bit of a ledge, where there would be like a mini shadow. So I've already got my moon glow in as my shadows here, but you could also just add a thicker line. And do you see how that kind of just gives it a little bit more impact, just adding some thicker lines underneath these ledges, just to add to the sort of depth of it, really. You can go a bit mad with this stage though, and then you end up with everything with a thick black line. So that's obviously not the goal. So maybe put a few in and then just sort of step back and have a look and see what it's looking like, and just sort of keep your eye on it, really. But this just shows you actually really don't need to draw everything, and that's also something I talk about a lot. You know, you don't need to draw everything to capture the essence of the building or the scene or whatever it is that you're looking at. So I think that's quite a nice like reminder, especially if you don't have much time as well, or if you do what I do, and you're with other sketchers, that you end up talking so much so you don't actually do any drawing.
What? I was talking? No. Well, I always get that question. People ask, how do you know when you're done? And I say, this is how you know when you're done. You're doing this with the brush, like, what should I do now? Good time to stop. At least take a break and step back and let it dry. You know, like, don't keep going, because you're probably going to go too far.
Yeah, that's so true. If you're hovering around looking for what to do, it's like, actually, you're probably just done.
Exactly. Yeah, stop.
Yeah.
Yep.
So no, this is cool. I quite like this. There's some like nice things happening with the paint in here, which I also really like. Which I also really like about 100% cotton paper, is the paint just reacts very nicely. However, I will say this is not 100% cotton paper. I think this is also something I got in a goodie bag, but it's just a Canson Montval. It doesn't say what it is, but if it doesn't say cotton, then it's obviously not cotton. But it's actually quite nice. It's a nice paper to use.
Yeah, I'm also struggling with grass or no grass at the bottom.
Yeah, I know, that's it. Yeah,
a little grass. I have this brush that I use. That's it's like my magic grass brush. Where is it?
Your magic
I have
grass.
all these brushes, which is yeah, let me go grab that. It's right here.
So yeah, in terms of because I know Eileen's mentioned her brushes, I'll just talk about mine. I just carry two around with me. So the one is an Escoda Reserva brush, which is a number 10. So this is a natural hair brush, but I do know that the synthetic brushes are really quite nice to use as well. So if this one, God forbid, if I ever lose it, because it's actually quite an expensive paintbrush, but I did buy it back in 2017 and it's still going strong. There's nothing wrong with it. But I would be tempted to try maybe the Perla range or the other ranges that are synthetic rather. And then this one is just an awesome brush as well. This is a Rosemary & Co. 1/4-inch dagger brush. So, you know, these are the two that I use just for everything. I've got one biggish brush, not compared to Eileen's brushes, and then one smallish brush, and it kind of does the job, you know. So those are my two brushes.
Yeah, I think minimal is better, you know, because it's just less stuff to think about, like less decision making when you're sketching. You just have two brushes, you use what you have, and you make the best of those tools that you're now thoroughly know how to use, because that's what you use. You know, it just makes sense, because you just keep switching brushes, you know, you're just spending a lot of time messing around with that. So this is the
Yeah.
brush that I have that's, where is it? Right here.
Oh, your magic grass. Oh, hang on, let me
Like
spotlight. Just so people can see spotlight. There we
It's
go.
supposed to be an extended point brush, but what it does is it splits. You see that? It's just
Yeah.
like totally split. So when I go down and I want to do grass,
Oh, hang on, I'm on
it
the
just
wrong
totally
spotlight.
makes like grass, like in 1 second. It's just like quick, quick. Yeah, let's see that.
This one. There we go.
Like that.
Ah, that is the magic grass brush. That's awesome.
Telling you, you don't have to do a lot, just to indicate. That's it, done.
I love it.
Trees
That's
too works really good for trees, like just leaves and indicate it. Yeah, you don't have to draw relief. You just have to make the impression of a tree, which is pretty obvious if it's a green
yeah.
thing with a brown thing on the bottom of it. Yeah, it's your impression of it. That's what's important when you draw. It's your art. You're not a camera. You're an artist. You want to do your impression of what you're seeing and your feelings about it. And that's really what urban sketching is about, is it's really the experience of being out with other people and you're sketching in a group and you're looking at this thing and everybody's sitting there and it might rain and you're having a tea or a coffee and people are talking to you and it's like all that stuff that you've been experiencing is in the drawing. So you'll remember, like you and I were drawing together. We both remember that day, us drawing together, how we were sitting, what we were talking. We went and had lunch. It's like the whole day becomes part of that. And
Yeah.
that's why when you look at these books 10 years later, like, oh, remember Taria and I were sitting in front of this and we drew it. You remember because it's in there.
True.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a really amazing experience to have that like happen in there. Somehow the memory is embedded in the drawing, which is really the part of urban sketching that I love because just taking a picture of something and walking away, you didn't even look at it. You didn't even look at it. But we really looked at this building a number of times.
Oh, many times.
Many times. Yeah. Yeah, we were there a couple of times.
Yeah.
So that's the essence of urban sketching is you really are there in place, on location with whatever's going on, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be sitting there, a truck could pull up in front of you and block you totally. So what do? You draw the truck.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm just gonna catch up on the chat here. So Trish says, what modification would you ask for to get that square nib? I think she means potentially on the Pilot Parallel pen.
How you do this? Yeah.
Or that one, yeah, maybe it was that one, yeah.
Yeah, I teach this too, but basically if you look it up on the internet, you can use sandpaper. So you buy them and they're square and you take a pretty like a 120 grit sandpaper and you basically carve the nib down on the edge to create this shape. And then you go to the sides a little bit like that. And there's other things you got to remember, but that's how I do it. I just use sandpaper. If you had a grinding wheel or something like that, you could do it really fast. But the sandpaper will do. Then you go to a finer and finer grit, and then you polish it. So I do the modification myself on all these. So
I think when
it's
I
not
went
that hard
to Ellen, what's her name? I always forget her name. She does the World Sketch Tour thing with Jenny Adam. Her name will come to me. Anyway, I went to her workshop and she also did a class on
Eleanor Doughty.
Eleanor Doughty, thank you. And she showed us how to modify these just using sandpaper basically. As you say, there's a few other bits to it, but that is the gist. So
I just have a few of them. Yeah.
Just a few.
Couple.
I have this, but I'm tempted to get like a big one because also these are not too crazy, are they, price wise? $12,
$15. No, they're not much.
They're not too bad. Yeah.
So this this modification does raise the price because this is an Opus 88 demonstrator, and this pen costs about $120. But you can take the pen and basically unscrew the nib that comes with it out, and then these Pilot Parallel nibs just pull out of the pen original, and it just pops into this grip, and that's it.
Yeah, that is.
And then it works.
Cool. Yeah, I like
then
that.
You have all this in here. Yeah.
I'm not enjoying refilling mine with a syringe. I'll be honest, I'm not enjoying that. Maybe
no syringes for you. Huh? No. She's like not gonna do it.
Let me read some other comments here. Oh, Deborah says she does pet portraits and uses a like a brush, like your grass brush for the fur. That makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. Kim, loving this. Great way to spend a Sunday evening, soaking up Eileen and Tara's talent and tips. Thank you, Kim. Yeah, memory is always in the drawing. Sketchbook Wanderlust. Becky, I wish I had art friends to do that with. Yeah, I didn't in the UK, and actually, I'm not suggesting you need to move countries, but I moved to Johannesburg. I did then find my tribe, which was really nice. But yeah, you know, you just gotta if you don't have an Urban Sketches chapter near you, which I just didn't in the UK, I know it can be a bit tricky. But yeah, just keep trying to find people who are interested in drawing, whether it's urban sketching or not, and making art drawing friends that way. Or you know, just come and see me and Eileen in our respective locations and come and draw with us. No, I am
Yeah.
being
And
too fair.
the Urban Sketchers website, if you go to urbansketchers.org, they have a map system, and you can go onto the left-hand menu. It says where we sketch, and the map will come up, and you can just put in, you know, England or United Kingdom, and then England has a lot of chapters. I mean, there's a lot of chapters, and find the closest one to you, and then you can find them, and there's always people there. Or start it yourself. I always say go to the local art supply store, put a sign up, and start putting it on Facebook. And you know, when you meet people, people will see you drawing on the street and they'll ask you. I have a card that I print out with all the information, and I just say, here, join my email or my Facebook page, and you start gathering people. And then I have a Thursday group. That's my private group. I have 18 people that have been with me for 5 years. We go out every Thursday because I just started it. It's like I knew people. I'm like, you want to be in my group? You want to be in my group? And then we all go, and they're loyal. Every Thursday we go out wherever I say, they go with me. So it's really a fun thing to have like a group I go out almost every day out sketching.
It's funny that you
by myself or with
that you also have a
with one
Thursday group
person with a group.
Yeah, we also have a
almost.
Thursday group as well, which Kim who's here in the chat, she's a part of. So yeah, I think it's nice because some of us want to sketch. Some Urban Sketches chapters do meet more than once a month, but then I think a lot do just do once a month, which is fine. But there was some of us that just wanted to sketch more often. So it mainly is like me and retired people. There are a few people that do work there as well, but but that's fine. It's still like
we meet
like this crazy oddball family, and we've been meeting for 4 years as well, and we just love each other, and it's just really nice. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what I have. Yeah, so we use Meetup here in the Bay Area, and we have Saturday, Sunday every week. We meet twice a week. Sometimes we have 4 sketch walks in one weekend. There's a sketch walk going on right now that I'm missing. So I do every Saturday. I set up that every Saturday, and then I have a couple of friends that do Sunday. So we work it that way, and then sometimes somebody will do Friday. So we have a lot of people in this. We have 5,000 people in the whole Bay Area meetup group. So there's the Bay Area, there's Marin, North, South, East Bay, the whole area, and then you know, that all gets put up on Meetup. So if you want to go to the East Bay, which is, you know, across the water, you can go there for another group. So there's a lot of groups like that, and then it's amazing. You know, that one at the Palace of Fine Arts that I arranged with the reporter for the CBS News. He said he wanted a big group. I put it out to everybody I knew, and we got 80 people showed up at that. Wow. If you watch the video, you'll see all of us there sketching together. It's like everybody heard about it. I made sure everybody knew. I'm like, a reporter's coming, and they all came in and showed up. So it was really fantastic. We had such a good time, and he did such a great job. So that's really a fun. It was really a fun way to organize that.
For those that maybe haven't seen it, I'll also put it in the description as well. But Eileen was featured along with some sketches in the San Francisco area on CBS News, and they did a sort of 2-3 minute clip or episode about urban sketching, which was really, really cool. So it has been doing the rounds in our urban sketching WhatsApp groups, even over here in South Africa. So it's really nice to see. But yeah, I'll put that link in the description of the video. Eileen, how are you getting on with your sketch? Are you done?
I'm good. I'm pretty much done. Yeah, I'm going to sign it. Yeah, I put in the shadow.
Yeah. I'm going to leave mine there. I'm quite liking how it is.
A little white, and I think
Yeah, put some white in. Oh, for though, this always comes up is what do you use for white? And finding a decent white pen is a constant quest, and I don't think the quest will ever be completed. But at the moment, I'm personally using this white gel pen, which I think Eileen's holding up the same one as well, which is a Uniball Signo. This is a broad nib. Is yours a broad nib as well, Eileen?
This one is, yeah.
Yeah, I
This
would
one I got
suggest.
from a friend who goes to Taiwan, and it's an extra fine, so it's like 4.2 millimeters, so it's a really thin point on this. That's really
Is
fun. It's
that
a
a
tiny thing, but
correction?
I told her next time she goes, go get me 2 or 3 more because it's really thin. It's not, like those big Pentel ones I give. It's a really thick
Well,
white line,
yeah, this,
like that one. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
which I
yeah.
quite
This, if
like.
you look at it, it actually says what width it is. This is 4.2. That's probably 7. So this is really thin
Deborah says,
somewhere on there. Yeah, you can
Mercury.
get a really super thin line.
Thank you. Yeah, so I quite like this one for like fat lines. It is a little tricky, but it's basically a correction pen, guys. It's got correction fluid in it. And this one is just a white gel pen. But I do recommend getting the broad nib in the gel pens rather than fine nibs, because I do find that they block up too easily if they've got a fine nib. So if you've got an option, it just says it says it right here on the the handle. I don't think that's the clippy thing. It's got broad written right there. So that's one thing I would say.
And a lot of people have a problem with this one. They say it doesn't write. So here's a pro tip on this one. Take the pen and rub it on the paper towel you've been wiping your brush on, wet.
Okay.
Wipe it on a wet paper towel, and it'll loosen up the little ball in there.
Okay.
Try
Because
that.
I
As
think
long as there's
from Pat Southern Pierce, I
they
think she said she just writes on her hand and that gets it working. So
yeah, you got to loosen it up, but a little water, it helps. Yeah, because you already have a paper towel or something that you're wiping your brush on. So
True. So I'm gonna give us just a couple more minutes here, and then I'm gonna wrap up. So you guys please do throw in any more questions that you have. I have seen Deborah say, I hope you to me, I hope you'll do a retreat in the USA too. Me as well, Deborah. I am desperate to come to the USA, absolutely desperate to come to the USA. So I'm hoping I can make that happen sooner rather than later. That's what I'll
well,
be.
you know where to go, San Francisco. You better come here.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%, 100%.
I got hundreds of things to show you.
Yeah. I'll probably just won't leave. I'll just stay.
Got a map.
Yeah. So, and likewise, you need to come here to South Africa. It's awesome.
Absolutely,
Everyone,
absolutely.
come and join us.
Love to see it. It looks beautiful. Yeah, it's really beautiful. Yeah.
All
right.
So I hope you guys have got lots of value out of this. Again, I do apologize for the technical issues at the start. I'm sure I'll get a few comments about that somewhere along the line, but I do apologize that. But I'm glad you guys made it. So thank you for finding us. I am going to edit
recorded and posted.
Yeah. So this will remain up on YouTube. This will just sit on my YouTube channel. So if you want to come back and rewatch it, I am going to edit the description now to update it so that it's got the reference photo link, so you guys can have a go with that. I'll also have mine and Eileen's links for our upcoming trips, respectively, to Tuscany, Portugal, Spain, South Africa, elsewhere across the States, blah, blah, blah. You can follow Eileen on Instagram. Her Instagram will be in the description as well. You know where to find me. I've got my YouTube channel here, but I've also got my Instagram as well. And do you have a newsletter, Eileen? Oh yes, you've got your links there. Hang on, let me spotlight you so everyone can see it. Do you have a newsletter, Eileen, where people can join?
I don't, but I have a mailing list on my if you go to my website, which is goldenbergdesigns.com, I have a mailing list.
Okay.
So I'll put people on.
If you want to stay up to date with Eileen, you can go to her website and join her mailing list. Likewise for me as well. But really happy that you guys managed to find us and that you joined us for this hour. I really hope it was valuable for you guys. If you are going to Poznan, do please come and say hello to both of us. Eileen is teaching her mark making workshop, and she'll be around and about, and I'll just be there, probably squirreled away having a beer somewhere. So come and have a beer with me. That'd be good. But yeah,
Yeah, I think the activity is Thursday afternoon is when it's happening. Yeah.
okay.
So
What, the beer?
yeah. No,
Good.
my workshop, my class.
Oh, your workshop.
Yeah.
Okay, Thursday afternoon.
Sign up for it.
Okay.
Here's or later.
Oh, but yeah, thanks guys, thanks so much. And if yeah, if you have any further questions, then you can reach out to me or Eileen. We'll be happy to chat with you. And yeah, have a great rest of your Sunday, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening for you guys. And maybe we'll be back again sometime with a live stream, because that was really fun. That was really cool. Thanks for
really fun.
thanks
Yeah,
for
really fun.
suggesting
Thank
this,
you.
Eileen. That was, yeah, I'm glad we did this.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll say goodbye then. Thanks everybody.
Goodbye. Bye.
The thing is, now I need to know how to stop it. Oh, there we go. Okay, bye everybody. Okay.